Nice. How much money would you say that you've lost on cars in your entire life? How much would you equate it to? I know it's hard to get a figure, but what would you say the total amount you've lost on cars? So let's say you bought a car for 5 bags, sold it for 3 bags, that's 2. Say you got a car, police took it, that's it. You got a car, the engine blew. How much would you say you've lost on cars in total, would you say?
For insurance, isn't it?
No, I'm not sure. I'm just doing on the value. Where you got a car for maybe 10 bags, the engine blew, you just sold it for 5k, so you lost 5. So just roughly, what would you say you've lost on cars? And what would you say is your one biggest hit you took on a car?
Maybe about 100 quid.
Yeah. What would you say is your one biggest hit though you took on
Man,
one
it's
day?
free, 100%. Because my deposit, I had to put down 10 bags.
And how much have you lost on that one car, would you say?
The car was 35, I had to put down 10 bags deposit. I was paying £500 a month. My car, I crashed my car. My insurance said they're not fixing it because my insurance was in Bristol. So they said, listen, we've checked the ANPR. You ain't been in Bristol. You're in London. We're gonna pay you back what you've paid in it for the insurance. You fix your car yourself. To get the car fixed.
Wait. Let's go back to that minute. Your insurance, so you registered the car to be insured where?
In Bristol.
In Bristol, yeah?
It was cheap, it was like £70 a month.
Okay, and they're saying that you don't live in Bristol.
They say you don't live in Bristol. You don't live in Bristol, so the money you've been paying, the £70 a month you've been paying, we're gonna refund it all back to you. For the 2 years or whatever you've had the insurance. Yeah, take it all back.
They fixed you.
But the quote they got for the car, because the man saw an S3, he got excited. He was like, yeah, you need a whole new body shell.
Yeah.
The body shell alone's 12k. We're gonna make it look nice for you, bro. I'm like, alright, cool. They insurance him like, yeah, listen, the quote we got for the car, it's not happening. We're gonna refund you back all your money. Fix the car yourself. So I'm saying, alright, cool. When I spoke to the finance company saying, yeah, you still got to pay the £500 a month for your car.
Yeah,
we don't care. So my car's sitting there, teetotal. They're saying,
what was the interest on it? So what was the interest on the loan?
I remember the ANPR was like 19.9. No.
So how much extra would you say what was the car advertised for price wise?
34.
And what would you say, so you took out, how much was the loan you took out?
I remember.
Okay, you said you put 10 bags down as a deposit, which means
there was 25 left. The loan.
it was 25k loan you took out then? Whatever the remaining was.
Yeah, 25k loan.
Then what was the interest on top of that?
I can't remember.
Because that's a lot of time.
But what I do remember is
but
that.
It's interesting saying you don't remember because that is the important part.
When I sold the car, I sold the car to We Buy Any Car, I had to pay 7 bags to get the car fixed. I can't. I got like 5 bags back or something. But remember, I already put the 10 bags in already. So yeah, I lost out crazy piece on that car.
Now, what would you? And a lot of time people ask this question. What would you say to the younger you? In regards to cars, what would you say to the younger you? So let's say you went back and you was talking to you as a 21-year-old. What would you say to the younger you in regards to cars?
I would say they have to experience it once for themselves, man. You have to,
Yeah.
because I can't be a hypocrite and be like, guys, don't get the Mercedes, get the Renault Megane, for example, because it does the same thing. You get from A to B, the heating works, the air conditioning works, your rooms would be, the maintenance would be that. Bro, if you want to get a car that's a bit high maintenance, I'm gonna say do it, because you need to learn. My mum always say to me, you learn the hard way. Pause.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
I think I'd be a hypocrite too to say.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, bro.
But losing the amount of money that, like, I think our biggest purchase growing up is cars.
100%.
It goes throughout our life until we finally buy a house. It is cars. And then when you think about, you say you lost probably like 100 quid on cars.
Easy.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. How much would you say you've lost on cars, Chiz, in total? If you was to add it all up. Not talking about insurance and petrol, just you bought it for 10k, sold it for 5k. You bought it for 15k, the engine went, like a big thing, but not like brake pads, but like a big thing happened, like he had a crash. So that was a big loss.
You know what, my crap cars before the Passat,
I'm gonna pass it.
those ones used to cost me a lot. All the fixing on the Ford,
but we can say that wasn't really...
the Punto, all the crap cars cost me more money fixing.
Let's not call them a loss. So did you sell it for a lot less than you bought it for?
Yeah.
You say you got more... Okay.
Yeah.
What do you say you've lost in total? If you had to put a round number in it, all the cars you've had so far, what do you say you've lost? Forget the fixing of it then.
Probably about 40. Yeah.
But
you know, I had to buy summer cars, remember? So I'd never really... I'd probably say the most I probably lost in cars all in is probably maybe $5,000 or if that, because I always bought and sold cars. So I never actually made a loss.
What would you say your biggest, forget the cars now, what would you say your biggest asset loss was?
The off license, I lost big on that.
Do you want to disclose the figure?
I think that was roughly about 20. Lost about 20 bags on that. Crypto and stocks and shares during
Do you
COVID.
understand that? Yeah.
No, I didn't. So basically, like an idiot, when everyone was jumping on the crypto stocks bandwagon during COVID, I jumped on it, and I should have listened to my accountability partner. He said, Gabriel, when it comes to investing, it doesn't matter what it is. Whatever you're good at investing in, stick to it.
Yeah.
Whether you're investing in stocks, shares, crypto, restaurants, food, whatever you're investing in, if you know that investment, stick to it. Don't try and join someone else's one because everyone's doing good at it. Dave studied it. He said, Gabriel, I don't know how to open a restaurant or get a commercial building.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. So if someone says, oh, if I've got 60 grand around me right now, I'm not going to go and open a restaurant because everyone's making money from it. I don't know how to do it. I didn't listen. So I lost about 30 quid during that COVID period. So my biggest loss is COVID. That whole crypto, stocks and shares. I bought Boohoo, I bought Nvidia, I bought Rolls Royce, Tesla. I bought all these ones. Didn't.
So explain just quickly, because I don't want to get into the whole dynamics of the stocks and shares, but say for example, like you say you bought stocks and shares or whatever in Rolls Royce. What does that mean? Every time they sell a Rolls Royce, you get money from it.
So basically the value of it, so let's say for instance I've got Scion London, or let's say I've got Scion Group.
Yeah.
And let's say the Scion Group is worth, I don't know, let's say it's worth 5 grand. Yeah. And let's say now how the value I think goes up is like, let's say I'm making more business, I'm making more money. When you then go to report your annual earnings or your quarterly earnings, it states now that, oh, they've made this amount of earnings, so your stock price goes up because your company's worth more. So what happens is that people now buy into the company.
Okay.
Because obviously they know that it's doing well, because if the stock goes up.
Can you say you don't want to have no stocks in it? You don't want to buy no shares in it?
Yeah, not every company needs to have something.
Okay,
If you float on the stock market, you can.
Okay.
But don't quote me for this. This is what I've heard. Okay, so what happens now, the more money your business is making, obviously the bigger your stock price goes up, which means if I bought something at this amount of money, because you're making a lot more money, my stock price goes up.
Okay.
So let's say I invested 10 grand and the business is doing really well. It might not, my 10 grand might be worth 11 grand. But now, if for instance, let's say when Shell had an incident where they had an oil leak in the sea or the ocean, their stock price dropped.
Okay.
Because obviously anyone who's a bit, environmentally friendly, they're like, what's all of this? They start removing their money, like, I don't like this company anymore.
Okay.
So then the stock drops. So when I bought into these businesses, so I bought Rolls Royce because during COVID and that, planes weren't flying. So which means Rolls Royce were not making any more engines, like everything was stopped. So you realise that the stock shares for a lot of companies drop because they're not making money. So that apparently is a good time to buy.
Okay.
And then obviously once I start making more money, the stock rises. But I didn't study this properly. My biggest loss is that 30k in one go. Not in one go, but different 10, I put 5k there, 2k there, kept topping up there. Never doing it again.